guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to the Hotel du Vin in Bristol. Today is the UK press launch of the Fiat 500X. We're going to basically be taken on a little bit of a trip, explore some of the beautiful countryside around here, have a lovely Italian lunch, and then drive back. And I thought you might like to come along and at the same time explore this new 500X model from Fiat.
Hey! Okay, so here we are. Welcome to the brand new Fiat 500X. Now, I've never done one of these before, so basically we've got a pre-planned route in our sat-nav, having enjoyed a beautiful Italian coffee breakfast, and we're going to drive, it's about an hour and a half's drive, to a village called Wells. Now, if you've ever seen the film Hot Fuzz, you will recognise it because that's where they filmed Hot Fuzz. So I'm going to get going. We've got some beautiful roads on the way. We're going to go through the Cheddar Gorge and across some beautiful scenery. Sadly, the weather isn't necessarily on our side today. It's a little bit cloudy and a little bit rainy, but I cannot wait to get behind the wheel of this brand new car from Fiat. So let's get cracking on our way. And on the way, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. And then we've got a very nice Italian lunch, which I'm very much looking forward to, and should be a really good day. So let's get cracking. Into first gear, handbrake off we go. Well, first sightseeing bit around Bristol is we're about to go over the Clifton Suspension Bridge. Now, the very kind guys from Fiat, you've got to love this, have given me £1 to get over the suspension bridge. It's in here somewhere. There's my £1. Fantastic. Now, I've actually never seen this before. This is quite cool. So the car I'm in right now, so this is the City Cross. It has a really interesting engine in it. So I've got a 1 litre 3-cylinder Firefly engine, 120 horsepower. But look at that, that's a stunning view. Wow. Now, the Fiat 500X was only launched in 2015, so it's only 3 years old. And the original design brief, no great surprise really, was to take a Fiat 500 and make it bigger, but try and keep the same kind of styling and aesthetics and look. And I think they've done a really cool job. To be honest, it's not a car I've ever driven or really thought about driving, but going through the briefing this morning, I really quite like the thinking behind it when it's explained to you. So the only thing I need to try and do is turn off Doris the sat-nav, because I can't stand sat-navs that actually talk to you. So let me try and do that, and I'll get back to you. Well, I must say, so far I am loving this little 1 litre 3-cylinder Firefly engine. It's really torquey low down, really revvy, but it's super quiet. It's coupled to a 6-speed manual box, which is a really nice change to it. And this is kind of predicted as being the big seller. This is the volume engine, they think. This car also comes with a 1.3 litre 4-cylinder engine, has a little bit more horsepower, and that's coupled to an automatic box. But in this little 3-cylinder with a manual box, I really like it. Now, one of the things I love about my Mini is it has lots and lots of character. It's a bit quirky on the inside, it's a little bit quirky on the outside, and when you drive it, it has lots and lots of driving character. And I'm getting the same vibe in this car. The interior is so funky, but it's just the driving feel I'm liking so far. And we've got a bit of a convoy, I've got one in front and one behind. It's really cool. Wow. Here we are at the Cheddar Gorge, and this has just got to be one of the most spectacular places. I actually cycled up here once when I did the Tour of Wessex a few years ago, and it's a brilliant, brilliant bike ride, but to get to drive up it, beautiful. We are now in Somerset, and we're very, very nearly at our lunch destination. So my plan is, when we get there, I'm going to hop outside the car and just talk you through the styling changes to this new 500X, and then we're going to go in and get some lunch, because my stomach's growling and I'm ready for a bit of Italiano. The only sad thing is I bet there isn't any lovely red Italian wine on offer because we're driving, but I'm sure there'll be some Pellegrino sparkling water or something like that. So that's nearly at Wells now, and then we'll have a look around the outside of the car. Well, we are here in Wells, very, very pretty, and the sun's come out, and I'm heading for lots of 500X flags, and there's 500Xs parked all over the village green, so I'm guessing that's where I've got to go. And we'll have a bit of a park up and a bit of a chat about this car. Here we go.
So we have arrived at our lunchtime stop. We have a lovely little Italian restaurant there. All of the 500Xs are parked up, but I just wanted to have a bit of a chat around the exterior styling of the car. Now, first things first, there aren't huge amounts of changes. Unless you kind of compare old with new, it's very difficult to spot the changes. But I guess the highlight features really, the kind of main look and feel is very similar, but the headlamps are now LED based headlamps. And they give a whole bunch of features in terms of better visibility, but also just the styling, the nighttime styling looks really cool as well. This is the cross version, so it's got the sort of, you know, that crossover kind of look. Oh, I just think it looks wicked. The other thing, if you come around the back, in terms of lamps or headlamps, kind of very Fiat 500 family-esque. Now you've got the kind of centre colour in here, and that colour of the car runs through on the inside as well on the dashboard. But I just think it looks really cool. I will gladly admit that I wasn't sure whether or not I'd get it. You know, when you look at the kind of tiny 500, and then you look at the big, the kind of big grown-up version. But I guess it's a little bit like the Mini. You know, I'm a Mini owner, and then you look at the Mini Countryman, and you think, well, really? And then I've spent some time with the Countryman, and I got it. So having had a bit of a look round the outside, all the other demonstrator cars are inside. Everyone's inside having a nice Italian lunch, so I reckon we go inside and get some food. But I'm becoming a big fan. I like it. It kind of takes that little baby Fiat 500 character and blows it up into a more practical, usable car with plenty more space, and it does it really cleverly. Yeah, very cool. Let's go and get some lunch. Fans, I couldn't come all the way to Wells without having a look at the Crown Wells. Now, if you have seen Hot Fuzz, you'll probably recognise this, just in case you don't. We've even got a blue plaque. Right, let's get back to the Fiat 500X and make our way back to Bristol. Oh wow, what a lovely lunch that was, and a little bit of Hot Fuzz tourism as well. So before I head back to Bristol, I thought it might be just worth having a chat just about the interior of the car.
One of the things I really love is this, so all the cars, no matter what exterior colour you end up with, they kind of bring that colour through onto the dash. So, you know, for a start, I think this blue is a beautiful colour. It's new to 500X as well. But the actual dash itself is laid out really, really cleverly. This touchscreen system is really easy to use. Lots of different menus. It did take me a while to find out how to turn the sat-nav voice off though. And then you've got this sort of three cluster instrument binnacle, and that middle one there changes depending on the various modes. The sat-nav can come up with the directions, and it's just a really easy to use display. And the steering wheel itself has a lovely feel to it. And this car just has a really solid, well-built feel to it. I like it very, very much. So, next thing, we got our route plugged back into our sat-nav. Slightly shorter distance on the way home, only 23 miles on the way home. We did best part of 35, nearly 40 miles coming here. So, different route on the way home. And there's a few more things we need to have a chat about. And that includes the different spec options and a couple of other things to do with this car. So let's get cracking back to Bristol.
The 500X comes in 3 trim options. There's the entry-level Urban, then there's the City Cross I'm driving, and finally there's the Cross Plus. The Urban is fitted with a 1.6 litre petrol engine from the outgoing 500X. The City Cross and Cross Plus use either the 1 litre 3-cylinder Firefly or 1.3 litre 4-cylinder. The Urban starts at $16,995. The City Cross is from $18,995 for the 1 litre and $21,195 for the 1.3. The Cross Plus is an additional £2,000 on top of the City Cross price. The car I'm driving is £22,100 on the road, thanks to £3,000 of options.
The really cool thing though is this car is packed full of quite cool safety features. There's some standard stuff that you would expect from a lot of cars nowadays. It has adaptive cruise control, it has lane assist, and it also has autonomous braking. So if something brakes in front of you and you haven't spotted it, it will apply the brakes for you. So that's pretty cool. It also though has speed sign detection. So even though the speeds may well be in the sat-nav, the car looks at speed signs, and there's another display on the dashboard that lets you know what the actual speed limit is that you're in, and you can actually set a limiter so that you can't go above the speeds that the road is kind of signed to be doing, which I think is quite cool. Whether I'd use that or not, I'm not sure. Depends how many points you have on your license. So far I am waxing lyrical about this car, and I hear you cry, is there anything you don't like? Well, my challenge with this car is this particular segment of car isn't for me. I personally, it's not a car that I would look to buy, but I do understand the segment that it's after. This kind of urban crossover, kind of 4x4 look, but really a car that you'd never take anywhere near off-road conditions. I do get that. I think the car looks really funky from the outside. It's well spec'd, it's very comfy, it's great fun to drive, and it has a real character. So I do understand. I can see it would tick lots of people's boxes. Personally, it's just not for me. I like my cars with a little bit more performance and so on, but that's fine. The whole point of me trying to bring different cars to you is, you know, if I just bought the cars that I would buy, I wouldn't drive very many cars at all, because I've got a pretty picky list of the cars I would actually buy, and it would be dull. I quite like experiencing new things. So we're very nearly back in Bristol. In fact, the Clifton suspension bridge is just up ahead. So my final impressions of this car, I've really enjoyed today. I think it looks great from the outside, this car, lots of character, but inside it's really well put together, and I have to say this little 3-cylinder 1 litre engine is an absolute honey. It's really quiet at cruising, it revs nicely, it makes quite a good noise, it's got loads of low down torque, so it's really drivable. So from a driving point of view, I've really enjoyed driving the car, but I have to say a massive thank you to Fiat UK for the invite today. It's been very special to come along to, I think, really my first press launch drive. It's been quite a cool experience, like going to Italy for the day. So massive thank you to them, but a big thank you to you guys as well. It's because of you guys liking and watching and sharing my content that I get invited to come along to things like this. So massive thank you. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have done so, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. I'll see you guys on the next video, which might have something to do with an Abarth 695 Rivale, which I get delivered tomorrow. But I'll see you on that film. You take care, guys. Drive safe.